Hey, this is the World Advice Channel. What I want to talk about today is the problem with Asia's work culture. Now, even though we live in a world where everyone likes to praise Asia for everything, Asia this, Asia that, Asia this, Asia that, and so on and so forth, whether it comes down to how advanced the technology is, to how advanced their economies are, and so on and so forth, even how hard they're willing to work. What I want to talk about right now is the problem with Asia's way of thinking when it comes to work. You know, their hard, non-stop working mentality. That's what I want to talk about today, and why it actually doesn't really work as well as they'd have you believe it does. As the truth be told, I speak the truth. I do not hide my words, and I'll speak the truth about Asia. And hopefully, this is some you can learn something from this that you can even apply to your own life. Okay? So anyway, now that I did my explanation, let's get started. So when it comes to Asia, everyone likes to praise Asia for having a non-stop work culture, or this idea of to become good at something, you have to work non-stop. Whether it could be something as cliche as the old martial arts movies they made in the past, to even how hard they work when it comes to becoming good at things like technology or cooking or any industry you can imagine. They have this fixation, whether it's China, Japan, Korea, and so on and so forth, that the more non-stop you work, the better you will actually become. And what I want to talk about today is why that does not make sense, and simply not only that, why it's not true. Okay, as the truth of the matter is, when it comes to work efficiency, the truth is working non-stop does not necessarily equate to being the best of the best. As the truth of the matter is, what determines the best of the best is simply down to simply how well you are actually willing to work. But here's the thing, when it comes to coming up with the best methods possible. And the truth is, you can work as hard as you want, okay? Non-stop, okay? 5-10 hours a day for whatever thing you are interested in. Whether it could be music, martial arts, cooking, whatever you can imagine your life. And if you spend that amount of time every day, for crying out loud, a year, if someone can find a method of doing it, a method that you can come up with, a technique, whatever you like to say, you will realize quickly he will be able to do even better than you, no matter how hard you worked, okay? And that's the truth about this hard work fixation culture, that we hear about all across the world. Oh, if you work non-stop, you're going to be so good, man, and blah, 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 blah. But the truth of the matter is, hard work non-stop does not equate to quality. All it proves is that you can do the same thing over and over again. But when it comes to actually the quality of how good you are at something, it doesn't really do anything. Because the truth of the matter is about human beings, okay? We are actually, by nature, the truth of the matter, whether you want to believe it or not, we are actually designed to get frustrated and annoyed by things, okay? We are actually designed at some point to give up. We are sometimes designed when we do things to get annoyed and say, fuck, I hate doing this. Okay? I hate doing this shit. I can't stand it. I don't like it. This is ridiculous. Particularly when you might work very hard doing something at one point, and then you stop and you start again. You start doing it again and you get annoyed. Because you want to know the real reason why it's like that? Because doing something like that leads to innovation. Okay? And we see this throughout the history of the world, okay? In the past, whether it comes to things like transportation or even things like being able to lift heavy objects and so on and so forth, you see that trend all the time, okay? People got tired of doing something a certain particular way, they got annoyed, and they created a better, efficient method. Just like, for example, if you can talk all the time about, like, for example, well, I'm very fit so I can walk for a very long period of time, and I even come up with some ways you can build up muscle, but at some point you're going to find it irritating and frustrating and walk so much. And you know what people did? People learned how to domesticate animals, okay? So they could do a lot more things than they were able to do before, when it comes to being able to how far they could travel. Okay? And then when they used, obviously, animals, and that got kind of limited them, they figured out more and more efficient ways of transportation. Like, for example, the fact that we drive cars and we have trains, because if you're able to suck things up and you're able to be content with how things are, whether it's for that or even lifting weights, lifting heavy objects, which obviously you can, if you know about medieval history, they had an object a machine for that matter, that helped lift weights, making it easier for people to do things. If you're okay with doing things and just working non-stop and not questioning things and getting frustrated, then you're going to realize quickly that your society is not really going to develop very much. It might change a little bit, but it won't change very much. And the truth is, being irritated and frustrated leads to innovation. Okay? That is what leads to innovation. If people were able to suck it up, then we wouldn't get anywhere. That's how the truth about the world, whether we want to admit it or not, that's the truth about human beings. We only innovate when we get fully frustrated with the way things are done. And when it comes to even the 21st century in Asia, it's no different. Okay? Just like, for example, let's just say for example, maybe let's give an easy example for that anyone can understand. Let's just say, for example, okay, you are a mathematician who works creating like machines and stuff for like easily, for example, okay, some big time smartphone company or something. Okay, do I waste my time every single time I'm trying to figure something out doing a bunch of calculations to do it every single time when it comes to calculating? Or do I start figuring out, okay, every single time I'm doing calculations, let's just say, for example, to create an effective smartphone and so on and so forth, I start taking notes. Okay, like for example, I know, for example, this particular number, doing this many calculations is going to lead to this particular number, and doing this many other calculations will lead to this particular number. So I don't have to spend my time constantly having to calculate every single thing where, for crying out loud, so especially with how advanced smartphones are, probably it could take you literally an hour to do the calculations for even a small component to get that right. So do I want to waste my time doing that, or do I want to start taking notes so I can make this easier? Like, for example, what is 500 times 200? 1,000. What is 500,000 times 200,000 more like? Okay, do I want to calculate that in my head, or do I want to know exactly the number so I just pretty much make it a lot easier? Okay, and that's what I'm trying to say. Okay, so that's what I'm trying to get across here. Because at some point, if you just keep on doing it the exact same way, then you'll become stagnant and not really get anywhere. And that's the truth. What people need to understand about hard work is that hard work is not just simply down to, oh, I work so hard manually and stuff. It's also down to actually using your brain. Okay, that is the truth of the matter. And that is one of the reasons why so many people hate their jobs. No one's going to like their job, not unless it's something glamorous or something they actually want to do. But one of the reasons why so many people in this world hate their job so freaking much is that they're not figuring out better techniques to develop their skill. Whether it could be working, answering simple phone calls, or whatever you're doing in life. You need to figure out smarter ways of doing it. You still work hard, absolutely, but you also have to work smart. Okay? And a lot of people don't do that, and that's why a lot of people are frustrated and are exhausted with their lives. Okay, the truth of the matter is that you need to use your brain as well. Okay, so that's my point here. I was trying to make for this video. So that's the lesson I have, because in this world we live in, everyone always wants to praise Asia. They work so hard, they work so hard, they work so hard. But at the same time, that is definitely kind of a big problem with the world. Everyone just equates nonstop hard work with of course progress, but sometimes you need to actually think of better methods without taking the risk of getting exhausted. So that is exactly what I want to say for this video. Hopefully it's educated people, enlightened people about the truth about work, and hopefully you can apply this to your own life. And hopefully this could be used as advice to help make the world a better place in that way when it comes to work, okay? So anyway, this is my video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like this video and videos like this, remember to thumbs this video up and hit the subscribe button. And this is all to say, and simply put it, later.